All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So there are some other things here to update you on the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisitions in terms of the decision that came down yesterday where Xbox beat the FTC in court. Microsoft beat them where the preliminary injunction was denied. And this is going to allow Microsoft to close the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition by July 18th. So next week. And this will be huge for getting this thing approved overall. Now, when it comes to the UK, we know that the CMA did block the deal and that they are in the appeals process with the CAT. But after the FTC's decision came down, they had the CMA and Microsoft, they both filed a motion to put that on hold so that they could potentially come to an agreement and then get this deal approved. And the people were very optimistic about that, but we have a bit of an update here in terms of what exactly that actually means. So this is an article here from GameIndustry.biz. Microsoft to modify the Activision Blizzard acquisition to address the CMA concerns. And there was also reports coming out that they were potentially going to have some sort of small divestiture to meet the needs of the CMA. Who knows what that means, but you would guess it would be something to do with the cloud side of gaming. And that wouldn't, I don't think, affect people in the US or other parts of the world where the deal is going to close and go through in its current form. But in the UK, if something like that were to happen, a lot of people are speculating that they just close it or they make this remedy where cloud gaming won't be available in the UK market. I mean, I think that would be a terrible thing to happen, but I mean, that's maybe what Xbox and Microsoft are going to have to do because of the CMA. Now, when it comes to this, it's not just looking like it's going to be extremely easy for Microsoft to renegotiate this thing, add some remedies in there for the CMA. They come to a decision together and they push it through. The CMA is now emphasizing that they will still stay with their decision to block the deal, and a proposal for a new deal will still require another investigation. So it says here, the CMA has issued a fresh statement emphasizing that while it is open to potential changes in the Microsoft Activision deal, its decision to block the merger currently still stands. So they are, at least right now, acting still tough about their decision to block the deal, even though they don't really have any other backing from the big players in this, from the EU and the FTC. It's just going to be them alone as the major regulatory body that is going to be blocking this deal. It says here, news that the UK regulator will consider proposals from Microsoft as to how it may modify its proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard have sparked speculation that the deal is more likely to go through. But the CMA has suggested this may require further investigation before the transaction can be improved. And this is what a CMA spokesperson said on this. Whilst merging parties don't have the opportunity to put forward new remedies, once a final report has been issued, they can choose to restructure a deal which can lead to a new merger investigation. Microsoft and Activision have indicated that they are considering how the transaction might be modified, and the CMA is prepared to engage with them on this basis. These discussions remain at an early stage, and the nature and timing of the next steps will be determined in due course. While both parties have requested a pause in Microsoft's appeal to allow these discussions to take place, the CMA decision set out in its final report still stands. So there you have it. The CMA isn't essentially backing down whatsoever from their decision to go ahead and block this deal. And I'm not sure 100% what this means. I mean, you could look at it in a couple of ways. Just from the layman's perspective, maybe they aren't going to come out publicly and say that they are going to accept all of these remedies right off of the bat, no matter what, without doing any further investigations. They still need to act like they were confident in their decision to block the deal, because, I mean, wasting a lot of time if they aren't, wasting a lot of money if they aren't, obviously something that they don't want on their name. So they come out with these statements like this, or they're serious and they truly strongly believe that their decision to block the deal was the right decision and that they would be able to win in this appeal case in court with the CAT. So that will be interesting to see how this all plays out in terms of the UK market, but it could change things up here if they continue to hold tough, even if they offer remedies, or maybe the divestiture is the remedy of removing Xbox Cloud Gaming from the UK market. It'll be interesting to see how this affects how Xbox specifically operates in the UK. So keep your eyes open for that. Now, when it comes to the FTC can still file an appeal and try to get this deal blocked. Probably unlikely, but there are multiple various reports out there. Some people saying it is going to happen. Others are saying probably not. But let's look at this one. This is from CNBC and said the FTC could appeal Microsoft Activision ruling as soon as Wednesday. And this is their key points here, saying the Federal Trade Commission could appeal a judge's decision against its attempt to block Microsoft and Activision Blizzard from closing their deal. Bloomberg first reported that the agency was leaning towards an appeal for the denial of the PI. So that is the report here that is saying that the FTC is potentially going to go the way of actually trying to file that appeal to get this thing blocked. And the FTC has not reached a final decision on appealing according to the source, but the temporary restraining order that prevents Microsoft and Activision from closing will expire after Friday. That was a huge thing in this entire case here, that the judge actually reduced the amount of time that the FTC was going to have to file their appeal. It's not the regular 5 days that they were supposed to be given, I guess, just in general, if they were going by the 5-day rule, or whatever you want to call it. The judge actually only gave them until the 14th at midnight to be able to file the appeals. So if they are leaning towards that happening, it's going to happen relatively soon today, or by the end of the day tomorrow. I don't know if they feel super strong about this. If they're leaning towards that, why they would take longer to file that appeal, but we will wait and see if that happens. Now, when it comes to whether Microsoft and Activision believe that they will do this, this is what Bobby Kotick actually has to say about this. He says, I'd be surprised if they would waste taxpayer resources on something like that. I can't imagine the Ninth Circuit would grant the stay. I would think that would be a highly unlikely, and it just wouldn't be productive. And I mean, I kind of agree with the whole taxpayer resources, because I'm sure there's a lot of people already who have been following this, who listen to the case and are annoyed about the amount of time and money that was wasted going into this, where it seemed like the FTC just didn't fully understand the gaming industry, also didn't really have a great case, and just wasted a bunch of people's time. So if they were to file an appeal, that would just be more time wasting based off of all the information that we do have. And then the chances that the stay would be granted seemingly is low, but we will wait and see. I don't personally think that they will. It just seems like they would just be testing their luck in a losing cause. Now we got this. And this is an interesting thing if you're wondering about Call of Duty games arriving on Xbox Game Pass. I'm sure there will be a lot of Call of Duty games coming, older Call of Duty games, that there's a huge catalog. I'm sure all those will be coming over to Xbox Game Pass. But if you're wondering if the new games are going to be coming, it doesn't seem like that is going to be happening at least until 2025. This is an excerpt from one of the reports. The CMA previously revealed what could happen with Call of Duty. And it says, on this basis, we would expect that the benefits would start to accrue within a reasonable period, although there would in practice likely be some delay between completion of the merger and Call of Duty arriving on Game Pass in 2025. We therefore find that at least some benefits from the claimed Game Pass RCB may be expected to accrue within a reasonable time period. We know PlayStation still has the marketing rights for Call of Duty this year for Modern Warfare 3, and I believe it should be ending at the end of 2024 or something along those lines. But 2025 looks like it will be the first year where the brand new Call of Duty is going to be able to drop into Xbox Game Pass because of the deals that have been made for the game itself. So don't expect this year's to drop into Game Pass. Probably don't expect next year's to drop into Game Pass. But at the end of the day, there's still going to be so many games from Activision Blizzard that will be able to make their way onto the service. For me personally, Call of Duty is cool and all, but it isn't at the top of my list of games that I'm excited to be coming on to Xbox Game Pass at some point down the line. I mean, there's just a huge catalog there from like the Tony Hawk games, the Spyros, the Crashes. I would love to see them bring back Prototype. That would be super cool to see. And I was thinking about this as well. If they were to bring back a Prototype, maybe this will push PlayStation to actually compete with that genre again, with that style of game, and bring a new Infamous game. I love those games. So hopefully all that stuff does make their way out onto the service in due time once this thing does close. Obviously, we still have to wait until it officially closes. Still isn't 100% confirmed, even though the win yesterday was massive. But by July 18th, we should know about that with the FTC. And then again, keep your eyes open, ears open if there is going to be an appeal filed. But I will leave the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.